Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez claims that America hates women and would never elect one as president. You know, I haven't talked about AOC in quite a while, and honestly, I kind of hoped I wouldn't have to talk about her again. The woman is as sharp as a sack of wet mice. But with her having this new interview in GQ and her being on the cover and all, she is, unfortunately, back in the limelight and just as stupid as ever. This is JP with Political Pop Culture, and this is my take. Now, for full disclosure, I have not had the chance to read the entire GQ interview with AOC yet. I honestly don't know if I want to. I have read excerpts, and like I've said before, and frankly I've said ad nauseum, this woman is a complete moron. And let me be clear, I am not calling her a moron because I don't like her personally or because I disagree with her politically, which of course I do because, you know, I have a functioning brain and an IQ over 75. But no, I am calling her a moron because she just isn't very smart. In fact, the only way that AOC would not be the dumbest member of Congress is if Alyssa Milano actually decided to run and, God forbid, won a seat in the House. I actually feel dumber when I hear AOC speak or I'm forced to read her words. Ocasio-Cortez claims America hates women and would never elect one as president. I saw this article over on WayneDupree.com this morning, and I knew I had to add my 2 cents worth to the commentary. The article starts off by saying, a lot of people in this country hate women and would never let it happen, according to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Therefore, it's highly improbable that she'll be elected president. In an extensive and gushing cover interview with GQ released on Wednesday, the socialist firebrand New York Democrat discussed the possibility of her mounting a future campaign for the White House. And may God have mercy on our souls. Wow. While Ocasio-Cortez still believes that change is possible, she acknowledges that her time in Congress has, quote, given me a front row seat to how deeply and instinctively, as well as consciously, so many people in this country hate women. The 32-year-old who is called the political voice of... sorry, hang on. I literally could not get through that without laughing. Give me 1 second. I'll try it again. The 32-year-old who is called the political voice of a generation... I'm sorry. I'll get it. Seriously, I just got to focus. Think of something not funny. Okay, like Kathy Griffin's comedy. Okay, here we go. The 32-year-old who is called the political voice of a the political voice of a generation and a, quote, bona fide culture celebrity said, and they despise women of color. Look at that. Barely into the article and she's already pulling the race card. How shocking. Many individuals seek my advice on matters of the future, and frankly, I can't even tell you if I'm going to be alive in September. This is a major burden for me. It's not just the conservatives either. The Democratic Socialist went on to say that misogyny transcends political ideology, left, right, center. Does AOC not realize that women have been successful now in every branch of the government? That there's currently a woman Speaker of the House. A woman is currently the sitting vice president, and right now there are 25 women in the U.S. Senate. In her own chamber, there are currently 120 women serving as U.S. representatives. Hillary Clinton won her own party's nomination to run for president in 2016, and she could have won if she hadn't been such a terrible, god-awful candidate. Now, I have double-checked the definition of misogyny, and it does not match up with the evidence at hand. Couldn't just be AOC playing her famous victim card again, could it? I admit to occasionally assuming that I live in a nation that would never allow it to happen. Ocasio-Cortez has claimed that it's difficult for her to hear from young women that hope she will become president one day. I promise you, it isn't as hard for her to hear it as it is for sane people to learn that young women actually say that to her. She explained, I never want to tell a small girl what she can accomplish. Therefore, it's really tough for me to talk about. To add insult to injury, I have no interest in discouraging young people by telling them their dreams are unrealistic, not something I've ever done professionally. While on the other hand, the lawmaker said that being a woman and being opposed to Wall Street would hurt her chances of becoming president. She questioned whether or not Obama could have been elected without the substantial financial backing he received. I'm not sure. How incredibly insightful. In other words, she's admitting that the reason her chances of being elected to national office are slim is because of her politics, not because of her race or her gender. She's admitting it, but she's too stupid to realize it. Ocasio-Cortez argued that the political system from the Senate to the Supreme Court would work against her even if she were elected president. They still have many restrictions, she said. It's extremely tough. It's really tough. Princess, those restrictions are called the separate but equal branches of government. Perhaps, being a sitting congressperson, you should consider actually reading the Constitution, for God's sake. Another part of the discussion focused on the Congresswoman's experience with the, quote, open hatred she received from members of her own Democratic Party after she was elected in 2018. Ocasio-Cortez described the reaction as, quote, open animosity, blatant antagonism to my presence, my life. Maybe because they felt your election made the entire party look bad as a whole. I mean, maybe because like everyone else in America outside of your idiotic district, they think you're wholly unqualified to be a congresswoman and they think you're a joke. Ocasio-Cortez discussed her personal life, including a relationship with fiancé Riley Roberts, and her decision to publicly disclose that she had been raped while she was in her early 20s in the interview. The lawmaker went public on Instagram weeks after the January 6th Capitol riots, explaining the anguish she lived during the uprising and revealing she was a survivor of sexual assault. Ocasio-Cortez stated in the interview, quote, I could not talk about that day without sharing it because it was such a vital part of my experience. She was referring to the day she and other congresspeople hid in offices while rioters broke in. Okay, look, this is where I am calling her out on her BS. She has stated numerous times that she was in fear of her life on January 6th. She has stated she was afraid that they would not just kill her, but they would rape her. And they were breaking into the office building and she was in fear for her life. This is a lie. It's a lie. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was not in the Capitol building when the January 6th protest was happening. She was in her office in the Cannon building across the street. She was never in any danger, and frankly, neither was any other congressperson, because the protesters, as stupid as they were to be traipsing through the Capitol building the way they did, they weren't grabbing people and killing them. This is yet another example of AOC playing the victim card. The rest of the article goes on to talk about AOC's personal life, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. If you do care, you know what? Get a hobby. I'm not going to talk about that crap. Moving on. Isn't it ironic that as oppressed and marginalized as she is, she's still been elected and re-elected to Congress? But without the victim card, without playing the part of the poor, marginalized, oppressed woman of color, this moron, this absolute idiot of a human being wouldn't get any attention at all because anyone who has listened to her speak for more than 15 seconds realizes that AOC is not just an empty suit. She's an empty head. That's my take. What's your take? You can let me know your take in the comments below. You can also let me know your take by joining the cult at PolPopCult on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Rumble, and now Truth Social. Thank you for listening.